Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the KnifeCenter, and when we're talking about lists of knives, oftentimes some of the most popular folders and fixed blades rise to the top of the list. But unfortunately, that leaves a lot of really great knives out of the conversation. So today, we're taking a look at some great models that are hiding right in plain sight. Here are some of our favorite hidden gems of the knife world. Let's check them out. All right, the first knife I want to show you is from the brand Moki. And this brand was actually kind of the inspiration of this particular video. I mean, we've done videos kind of topicked on the, most underrated knives out there before, but this feels a little bit different. This is something Seth V, my occasional co-host, literally stumbled across in our warehouse over there, quite literally hiding in plain sight. Hidden gems. And the Moki brand, everything that we've picked up that they make feels phenomenal. I'm talking absolutely like custom levels of quality and fit and finish. You're not going to get it cheaply, but it's also not going to cost the same as a custom knife. This knife right here is the larger version of the Kronos folder. It comes in about 230 bucks right now. And for that, you're getting an awesome jigged bone handle. Very aggressive jigging texture going on here. Looks almost like stag in the way and what it's trying to mimic. Integrated bolster, mirror polished VG10 blade, and check out just the elegant shape of that blade too. Got a phenomenal look. Echoes a little bit like a classic slip joint style blade, but it's something a little bit different. And of course, you've got a lockback on this particular guy also. Just phenomenal. 3.2 inches on that blade itself. Comes with a small belt pouch with a leather lining on it, because of course there's no belt clip or no pocket clip on this particular knife. But if you're looking for an elegant, gentlemanly knife, you like the idea of the classics, but you want something with a lock, and you just want something that's a little bit nicer than any other production knife in this kind of price range, absolutely check out what Moki has to offer. Next up is Old Bear. Now, everybody out there probably knows the Open L knife, knows that style. They're phenomenal values. The Old Bear, made in Maniago, Italy, is a pretty compelling alternative and not too much more expensive either. This version right here is one of their medium-sized patterns, quite literally the classical medium. Comes in 23 bucks for this particular version. It's got the same kind of vibe as an Open L. You've got a ring around the bolster. You've got a simple clip point blade shape, just over 3 inches here, and we're using a simple 420. And you've got these single piece wood handles. This one is American walnut, but there are a few different options. Where this thing sets itself apart is the locking mechanism here. Rather than the collar twisting around like on an Open L, you actually have this metal tab sticking out that rotates around. And with that, it's easier to operate one-handed than the twisting mechanism, which can be operated one-handed, just this is a little bit easier. And it also works to hold it closed too. Really cool. And I gotta say, I was really, really excited about these when I first found out about them. It was at a blade show a number of years ago, and a friend of mine who was there found these guys and said, "Here, check this out." And immediately I saw this and loved it. I had to have it. They didn't even have any to sell at the show. They were just display pieces, so I had to really beg them to sell me one, and they did. And I'm really glad, because these things are very cool. Lightweight, just as comfortable as the Open Ls out there. Very slicey, very, very elegant. All right, next up I want to talk about the brand Brisa, which is probably unfamiliar to most, even if you're familiar with this particular knife, which is the Birk, which are pretty well known, I'd say, in like the bushcraft circles specifically. The EnZo Birk is the name of the knife. Well, the branding has kind of changed on these knives. Now they are known as Brisa, even though I still have right here one that still has the EnZo mark on the back of the blade. These things are awesome. You can get them in S30V or D2 blades, Scandi or flat ground, as you can see right here, contoured or flat handle scales too. They all feel really great, and with that Scandi grind right here, you can see why kind of the bushcrafters are aware of this brand. Blade just under 3 inches, razor sharp no matter which one you choose. I really like the contoured green micarta here. Liner lock, everything fits together super nicely. They've been using deep carry pocket clips on these knives since before it kind of became more prevalent. They kind of really leaned into that earlier on. And the fact is, these designs here are pretty much unchanged from the way they've been 10, 15 years, maybe even longer than that, because they just plain work. Prices on these, this particular one with the green micarta and the Scandi ground D2 blade is about $146. This version with a desert ironwood handle and S30V blade, flat ground, $178. But I think the least expensive flat ground S30V ones with a G10 handle, about $130. So fairly reasonable for what you're getting quality-wise for sure. All right, next up, I want to talk about Kizer. And more than just one knife, I want to talk about their Vanguard series of knives, or their Vanguard tier of knives. I think Kizer, more than anyone else, really kind of kicked down the door for a lot of the other imported Asian manufacturers, showing the high quality they could do. And they've always been associated with the more premium price point, all things considered, relatively, of course. But their Vanguard series kind of flies under the radar a little bit. The pricing on them is very good, and they're offering quality levels that are right up there with anything else in that price range, if not better in some cases. This knife right here, the Gemini, kind of is the knife that helped kick down the door on the premium side of things. But I honestly, no lie, I like this less expensive version better. They seem to flip slightly differently. I really like the character of it. There's just kind of a crispness to it that feels a little different, and I'm not sure why, but I like it. This version right here, $75, N690 blade steel, linen micarta handles, standard pocket clip there, ball bearings, liner lock, full flat grind on the blade. I mean, it's one of those almost perfect blade shapes for no matter what you're going to need to use it for. Stone washed finish, just over 3 inches. It's fantastic, and a fantastic value too. I mean, there's other stuff, other imported stuff in this price range you can get that's very high quality, very good materials, very high performance, but the Vanguard stuff just seems to feel a couple of degrees nicer. Certainly personal opinion, of course, but I stand by it. I think they're great. One more in that Vanguard series I want to show is the Justice Flipper, because this model is also, I think, kind of overlooked for some more affordable tactical knife usage. $69 for this guy, 3.7-inch blade, that N690 steel, robust flat grind there, not a full flat, decent amount of strength in the blade, and you can get it plain edge in addition to the partially serrated version right here. Handles are a G10. You've got your ball bearings in the pivot. You've got a nice looking deep carry pocket clip, and you've got a glass breaker tip there on the pommel. And again, the action, the way they do it, it just feels really, really good. And you've got thumb studs in addition to the flipper on this particular knife. So you've got a lot of options on how you're going to utilize this blade. All right, sticking with the kind of modern folder thing here for a minute, I want to talk about Bestech. They have got a ton of $52 D2 flippers that offer a great amount of value. The designs are solid, the fit and finish is very good, but because they all seem to sit at $52, they oftentimes get filtered out of what people are searching for, whether you're setting a price point on the website at hit that $50 mark, or even when we're making videos here on this channel, we say like the best of X under $50. $52. Maybe I should start including them in some of those videos anyway, just as sort of a gimme. But in a way, they're kind of just hidden for that reason. Here's two right here, the Bestech Texel on top and the Bobcat at the bottom. D2 flippers with ball bearing pivots, $52 on both of these guys. The Texel is a really nice modified Warncliffe shape for the blade, about 3¼ inches long. Great everyday utility carry. The yellow G10 is something a little extra nice, or a little extra different, I should say, if you're looking for something that's not just another black or kind of drab colored handle on your knife. Liner lock, flipping action, like I said, is great. Nice pocket clip there on the back. great, graceful design. Likewise, the Bobcat, specs are about the same, although in this case you've got a deep carry pocket clip and a drop point blade with a almost full flat grind there. You got a little bit of a swedge at the top. Great EDC blade shape, also about 3.2 inches, contouring on the handles, and finger grooves, yes, but they're not too prescriptive. They don't get in the way too much, at least not for my hand size in particular. Phenomenal, comfortable, smaller folding knife. And they do a few models that do have that comfort in mind, which, you know, I harp on this a little bit. Most folders aren't really all that comfortable when you get right down to it. This one kind of bucks the trend a little bit. But even at that price point, you can get something like the Swordfish, which has a 4-inch D2 blade, and we love that knife so much. We had them do it in S35 VN for us. That's a great bargain at about 90 bucks, but we've been showing that a lot. So that's not quite a hidden gem anymore, at least not on this channel. Let's say though, 52 bucks is a little too much and you want to spend a bit less. Outdoor Edge, not really a company, not really thought of as a knife company, quote unquote, by most, and not really looked to by most knife enthusiasts, I don't think, but they have got models like the Divide and the Conquer right here that are really great. They're designed nicely and they're put together very, very well. I mean, the Divide especially. This is a $35 knife, and let me just read the specs on this guy for that money. 3.5 inches, 8CR series stainless steel frame lock, and actual G10 on the front handle, flipper with thumb studs and ball bearings in the pivot for 35 bucks. And it's executed really well. And on top of that, Jerry Hossam actually helped design this knife, and the Conquer is a straight up Jerry Hossam design as well. Really astonishing. I mean, the flipping feel on this Divide, I mean, I think you can hear just how crisp and excellent that is. There's a smaller version of both of these knives available. I mean, this is just a great EDC shape with something a little bit different going on the blade. It's not boring. It easily could have put just a drop point blade on there, but they gave it a little bit of style. The Conquer, likewise, has a ton of style, absolutely. A little bit more money for this largest version of the knife, but still we're talking just under 40 bucks. Same great qualities, contoured G10 there on the front. You can see the sculpting in the lines of those layers. Great flipping action, excellent feel, and there's a smaller size too, if you don't want the big 3.5-inch blade. All right, next we're gonna get into some Camillus, and wasn't always the case, but nowadays they're known more for, you know, their imported folders, which are fine, but they're nothing like super enthusiast friendly, I don't think. But they are doing a few things here in the USA, including this CK 9.5, and this knife is actually made by Tops Knives, not just any no-name manufacturer here in the States. They went with one of the two that immediately come to mind for me for premier makers of American survival hard use knives. Tops. Awesome. 244 bucks for this guy too. So it's priced like a Tops and not like most other Camillus, but you're getting a tank of a knife. 4 3/4 inch blade, 1095 for toughness, thick for more toughness and strength. We've also got a stout saber height flat grind right here. It's also recurved for more cutting potential, and you've got those kind of expertly placed serrations for even more ripping power. Very robust tip. Some, like my friend Thomas over there behind the camera, might call that a reverse tanto. I'm just gonna call it a beast myself. Linen micarta for the handles with red liners, very Tops-like construction, and they even put Tops there on the back, so they're not hiding anything there. You know exactly who's building this knife. Sheath is full featured. You've got MOLLE compatibility there on the back. Of course, you can carry it just on your normal belt. Flap over the top to keep things secure, retention straps, pouch on the front, hard insert on the nylon. It even has Tops' safety whistle, just without the Tops letter printing on the front. Nice, cool, kind of additional option to the Tops lineup with the Camillus name on front. All right, next up, Casstrom. This is for the bushcrafters out there. And you know, everyone's favorite Swedish knife company, Moki Kronos, dominates the budget side of the conversation. Then when you get into more premium bushcraft fixed blades, a lot of the American competition kind of comes into play, but not a lot of people seem to know about Casstrom quite as much, and it's a shame because these knives are quite excellent. This is their number 10 SFK. The blade steel here is Sleipner steel, good performance there, very well respected in most hard use circles. Look at the fine finishing lines on that blade. You've got a horizontal finish, very even spine, just perfect lines, nice and crisp for striking a fire steel. Bushcrafters, of course, are notorious for wanting that, myself included. And the handles here, simple oak wood in this case, but contoured really nicely. Check out those swells, a little bit of that kind of Coke bottle profile, and a phenomenal neutral feel in the hand that is just perfect for whittling wood, doing anything you're gonna want your smaller belt knife in the outdoors to do. About just under a 4-inch blade on this guy. The sheath likewise is excellent. I mean, you can see, check out those perfectly finished edges on the welt right there. Nice and thick, stiff, but not, dried out. I mean, just impressive to say the least. All right, next up, I want to talk about Boker's Arbolito fixed blades, which are made in Argentina. Arbolito is just kind of the name of the town, I think, perhaps, or district, but at least the factory there. And the fixed blades they make there are right up there with the quality of the German-made Boker stuff. Truly impressive, especially for the price. This Arbolito Hunter right here is about $135, and for that, lots of impressive features. 4 3/4-inch blade, N690 steel. Might not be anything to write home about in the material standpoint. It's certainly capable, but not premium, I'd say. But everything about the way it's fashioned is very premium. Just check out these details. You've got a crown spine, you've got a tapered tang going on here, with, of course, the metal bolster, mosaic pins in this Gaiakin, probably saying that wrong, a specific type of ebony wood, which usually I think of as being a bit darker, but you can get some variation, including this lighter color right here. Very dense wood, actually doesn't float in water, interestingly enough. Everything about this knife is finished, again, kind of like that Moki, getting up there into custom level quality for just $135 in this case. It feels great, it's gonna work great, and definitely feels like an heirloom piece. Just like the Casstrom we just looked at, they've also got a fantastic sheath right here. Excellently finished welted edges, everything you want. All right, last but not least, I want to talk about a kitchen knife brand, and that is Kanetsune. And they make some higher end stuff that's truly excellent, but their budget oriented stuff, including this Usubugata, which I'm probably saying that wrong, for $38 is a steal if you're looking for Japanese, like truly Japanese style knives without breaking your budget. 6.5-inch blade on this guy, and you've got stainless steel outer layers and a carbon steel inner layer. Takafu Shiro 2 core steel on that. Really cool stuff. You see it used on handmade Japanese knives, but you're not gonna get a handmade Japanese knife for under $40 like this. And you get other patterns too, like a Santoku and some smaller knives. With that, very thin blades, very, very sharp right out of the box. I mean, these are precision slicers, not big heavy choppers or big heavy Western style chef's knives. These are instruments of precision. Handles to keep costs down. They literally say red plywood. Nothing that's gonna get your heart racing, but it's a stabilized material. It's gonna be fairly resistant, more resistant to moisture than a standard wood handle. But of course, don't put it in your dishwasher ever. Really, really impressive what you get for this price. I used one of their Santokus, or did use one of their Santokus for a couple months at my house just to test it out. Highly recommend it. Can't recommend it hardly enough. Anyway, that's all we've got for this, we'll call it episode of Hidden Gems. We might come back in the future with some future installments of this series, but let me know what you thought of these hidden gems down in the comments, and let me know what you think is out there that's phenomenal, but people just aren't paying attention to. Stuff that's hidden in plain sight. Love to hear it. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, we'll leave links in the description to take you over to KnifeCenter.com. And make sure you sign up for our Knife Rewards program so that if you buy one of these hidden gems today, you'll earn some free money to spend on your next knife. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center, signing off. See you next time.